Playing with me under a roof this week, Jack?
Yeah, it's be a nice change after the weekend. It was fairly wet up north. It's probably the wettest game I've actually played in, to tell you the truth. It was, the first quarter was almost laughable, the conditions, but I suppose it's the same for both sides, and we probably didn't handle it as well as the Gold Coast did.
How close did it get to possibly being delayed or postponed?
It's probably a question for the AFL, to tell you the truth. As players, we had no idea that was even a possibility. We were just out there warming up, ready to play, and I sort of read after the game that it was a possibility to be sort of postponed or delayed, but yeah, from players' point of view, we're just business as usual.
You meant it should be called
up? No, I think football's played in any conditions, and I'm sure Jarryn's played in some average conditions as well, and that's why we love our games. You can play it in the summer and in the winter as well, and you just got to make sure you handle the conditions as well as you can.
There was a bit of drama before the game as well on the flight over there, apparently. What was that like?
Oh, there's a bit of mayo probably put on that story. The plane went to land and there wasn't much visibility, so it had to take off again. We had to sort of circle around for half an hour in the sky to wait for some rain to leave, but we all got there safe and didn't have too much of an impact.
How did your body pull up after that sort of contest?
Not too bad. It's round one is probably the challenge first and foremost to pull up after round one, and heavy conditions was a bit of a challenge, but I mean everyone's put up well today, no injuries from the weekend, and the training will be pretty light this week, getting ready for Friday, big game.
And Jarryn, what's it like to play the club's first Good Friday game?
Yeah, I mean firstly we're wrapped to be a part of the day. We don't play in many big games, we haven't over the last couple of years, so we're really excited to be a part of the day, and hopefully going forward it's something that us and North can do for a number of years. It's going to be a really good day Friday, and hope that lots of North and Saints fans get along and can chip in and donate some money to a really good cause.
Obviously, the win's obviously the most important thing for you guys, but we saw the Bulldogs were sort of, it appeared as though the game was taken off from our line. You just sort of feel, I guess, the pressure to make it, your own, and so you can hold on to that picture for the years to come.
Oh yeah, I think so, and I think working together, like North have invited us down here today, which is great, and tomorrow both teams will go to the hospital together, and we'll do a number of things throughout the week together and try and create a really good atmosphere and a really good place to be on Friday, and hopefully we do a good enough job that the AFL see fit that we can do it for a number of years going forward.
I guess after the weekend it must be great to sort of start with a winning way.
Yeah, round one you always want to get off to a good start. We focused on our starts over the JLT. We were pretty ordinary. We got to a reasonable start on Saturday, and the Lions stuck with us for most of the game, so we were pretty happy with the result in the end. A lot of things to learn and improve on, but yeah, we're pretty happy with the result on Saturday.
Is round one the hardest sort of games to prepare for? Because especially with a team like the Lions, they've had so many changes in the off season. You've seen it in a few JLT games, but I guess it's hard to really get a finger on the pulse on what kind of team they actually are. Like, did you find that a bit of a challenge?
Well, round one's sort of, I think, more about yourselves. You go into the game trying to really implement what you've been working on over the off season. You don't know what the opposition's going to throw up to you. They can hide a few things. They don't normally show you all their cards in the JLT. So you sort of just focus on yourself more or less, and that's what we did. We knew the Lions were going to come out and play a contested brand of footy. That's what they've spoken about all off season. There was no doubt they were going to do that, and they did. So that wasn't a surprise. But yeah, we focused on us more or less throughout the week.
We've seen Blake Acres play a lot of good games over his career, and he played a really good one on Saturday. Do you reckon he's like at that age where he's ready to really put it together consistently and have a big season?
Yeah, I think there's a number of players in that category for us that have played really good games throughout their careers. They're 60 to 100 game players, and I've spoken about it throughout the last 3 months that the challenge for us now is to have those players play consistent footy throughout the year, like Jack Billings, Blake Acres. Luke Duncan's out of the team, but when he comes back, he's the same. Jack Steele, they're in that category now where they've played some really good games of footy, but the challenge for them is to do it each week. We feel like that's where we can really improve our football, when those guys can do that every week. And Blake, I think his last 6 games last year were really positive. He started the season really strongly, so I'm confident he'll have a really good year and he'll keep backing up those performances.
How good do you reckon he can be?
He's a promising player, no doubt. He's got some great tricks. He's a really good size. He's quick enough. He seems to get away with a lot of things that other players can't. I think he could be a really important player for us going forward. Like I said, his next development is going to be his consistency. When he plays really well, he's really good for us, and his challenge is to bridge that gap between his best and worst performances, which I'm confident he's probably going to be able to do that now that he's in that bracket of 50 to 100 games.
I mean, Jack Stevens started the season brilliantly again. Just sort of feel that he might be a little bit underrated generally. Like when people sort of talk about the best midfielders in the country, he gets a little bit underrated.
Oh, externally probably. Internally, certainly not. He's won 3 Trevor Barker medals. Right. There's not too many guys that are running around in AFL football clubs who have 3 best and fairest under the belt. So, and I'm sure that Jack only worries about what we think of him internally. I know there's a lot of noise externally about, do we have any A-grade players in our football team? Certainly we rate Jack as an A-grade player internally, and I'm sure that's all he really worries about. His best and fairest results reflect that. Sure, last year he had a bit of a down year. He still came sixth in the best and fairest, which is still a pretty handy year. But if he plays like he did on the weekend for us, more often than not, we think we'll be in good opportunity to win most weeks.
And Jack, how do you find how some of the new players perform on the weekend? Were you encouraging, or how do you find it?
Yeah, I think we had some encouraging performances on the weekend. It's probably hard to take much out of that game, to tell the truth, with the conditions. We'll probably do a little bit of a review today and move on pretty quickly with the 6-day break for the Saints on Friday, and improve on a couple of areas we'll need to improve, but we'll probably try and keep working on the things we've been working on for the pre-season and make sure they're improving as well. And
just Good Friday generally, what does it mean to the club, to be play such a central role, I guess, in the day and from an AFL perspective?
Yeah, it's a huge occasion for our footy club, and I think it goes back a number of years where North Melbourne's been pioneering this day for a long time, and to get the opportunity last year to play against the Bulldogs was awesome. And unfortunately, we didn't get the win, but it was a good show the club put on with all the work behind the scenes done. And I think the amount of money that was raised for the Good Friday appeal was awesome. And both clubs are calling on our supporters to turn up Friday, because there's not much else to do Good Friday. So if you're bored, get to the game. And even if you're AFL lovers, just pop along, because all the money that's raised goes to a great cause. Everyone supports the Good Friday appeal and the Royal Children's Hospitals. And as Jarryn said, we want to pop in tomorrow and see some kids. And we encourage everyone to get along for what is an awesome day, and hopefully see a great game of footy as well.
It seemed like over the off-season, North copped it a fair bit from the media in terms of not rating the list. The big occasions you see as a chance to change a few opinions?
Absolutely. I mean, the football world will be watching, as every Friday night game, everyone sort of watches, and Good Friday is no different. The first game of Easter weekend, and we'll look forward to being able to play on the big stage, and a few of our young guys will get a great experience out of that. And it's a pretty big week for our football club, having a Good Friday game for the second year in a row, and we'll look to try and keep that fixture in the future, no doubt. And but to do that, we have to play a good game of footy, and our focus is right there. Obviously help build the game, but come game time, it's going to be on.
There was a fair bit of talk about Todd Bell's seen over the last few months. How did you see him first up against the Suns?
Yeah, in trying conditions for a big guy, he was really good. He gave us first use in the midfield, although we probably didn't capitalise on that as well as we probably should have. But I thought it was a really encouraging start from Big Goldie, and we'll look to get him back to his best throughout this year, no doubt.
Well, concentration at the moment, of course, is on cricket and what's happening in South Africa. I'm just wondering what your reflections are when it comes to leadership, your leaders in your club. What are your thoughts about leadership and what your role is as the captain?
Yeah, it's probably similar for both of us, but you need to lead by example, and I think you need to have a really strong purpose in what you stand for as a playing group, and yourself as an individual as captain, and making sure that all your teammates and peers know exactly what's required from them as well. It's a pretty big thing that's happening with the Australian cricket team at the moment, and they'll all play out, but we can only speak for ourselves and what we do for our footy club, and making sure that you understand what's going on and what you condone and what you don't condone is probably high on the priority list.
Jarryn, just quickly, in the last few weeks, have you noticed how's the mood been in the club, especially with the players heading back to the spiritual home at Moorabbin, and I guess heading into the sea, you were able to move there quite earlier than expected. Has it given the playing group a bit of an extra sort of lift?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, there's been a lot of excitement leading up to the move to RSCA Park. Great to get back to Moorabbin. The community around there really behind us, and getting in there before round one was really important. We were due to sort of move over the next couple of weeks, which maybe would have been a little bit interesting, potentially a distraction, but the club did really well in getting us in there early, and yeah, it's probably given us a little bit of a lift, only because we've been so excited about it for a number of years. I mean, they've been talking about developing Moorabbin since I first got to the club, which is 12 years ago, so it's taken a while, but it's well worth the wait. It's a great facility, and encourage everyone to get down there, because anyone who's been around St Kilda or around the club's history, Moorabbin's been a big part of it for a long time, and you're welcome to come down there and have a look at it because it's a really good spot to be.
And Jack just quickly was tracked everyone's head for you to get on the plane after you come back.
He actually practices at it so much, so in those conditions, it's a pretty impressive kick because we definitely needed that goal as well. So he was pretty happy with himself.